Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a mockumentary from 2007. That movie is called American Zombie. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't even know that this movie existed until I was browsing around on Netflix one day looking for possible movies to cover for this series, and the title kind of caught my eye. Then I read the summary on Netflix, and it says it's a mockumentary about two documentarians who want to show the world the Los Angeles zombie community, and I thought that sounded really fascinating. So I'm going to assume that this movie is going to be set in some kind of an alternate world where humans and zombies are able to coexist. I'm really curious exactly how they are going to handle that, and hell, guys, this thing actually could be a fantastic movie, but the only way to find out is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out American Zombie. You know, guys, I really thought this movie would be a bit more interesting. I mean, I was kind of sort of expecting them to use zombies as basically a fill-in for any group who's ever had to overcome who've ever had to overcome civil rights burdens, but I kind of thought that they would handle it in a interesting manner, and this so far it's kind of dull. So the only way to become a zombie is if you die a violent death. Interesting. That actually is a nice little twist on the whole zombie mythos. I'm actually kind of liking that. I just sort of wish that the rest of the movie wasn't so fucking dull, but hey, at least that's a nice little add-on to the whole zombie mythology. I kind of like it. You know, I guess it kind of makes sense that we would have a Christian trying to spread his faith to zombies. After all, Jesus was technically a zombie. After all, he did die and then, come back. Just saying. At least that's kind of a creative way of looking at it, and plus, well, it kind of works for the sake of this movie, you know? So, not only are zombies incredibly boring, but as you can hear, they have really shitty taste in music, too. Yeah. This movie's actually beginning to get a bit... It's beginning to get a bit depressing with just how dull it is, man. You know, it's kind of sad. Even when this movie's trying to build tension, when it's trying to build, drama, it's still boring as fuck. Guys, a movie about zombies, a mockumentary about the zombie lifestyle should not be this fucking dull. I can't wait until it's fucking done. I really cannot wait for that. Thank God it's fucking done. Yes, guys, that was American Zombie. Oh, and now there's more shit after, or rather as they're rolling the credits. No, I don't care about the zombie factory workers. Fuck the zombie factory workers. Okay, so. You know, guys, I know I said this before, but sometimes curiosity sucks. I was sort of curious if this was going to be any good. In fact, I kind of had hopes. And those hopes were quickly dashed because this movie really sucked. Alright, so where to even start? Well, first of all, because it is a mockumentary, I'm going to assume that there was no script written, no proper script. So I can't really talk about writing in so much as how things were written, but I can sort of discuss the setup, the layout, and the whole premise of it all. Because when you think about zombies, you kind of sort of have a couple of different things. If you guys want to know the difference between a zombie and a human, at least in the world of American Zombie, is zombies have slightly grayer or ashier skin. They might have like patches of skin peeling or wounds, or like really bad like fucking like wounds, or like massive scars on their chest, which have kind of sort of healed, and that's it. Oh, and also imagine the dullest humans you could ever imagine, living the most mundane lives. It's like, I'm gonna tell you guys, there are two things that happened in this film. Now, this is part of the like writing process, because this shit almost has to have been written down somewhere. Two things had no payoff at all, and I hated the fact that there was no fucking payoff. The first one is the glowing blue liquid. You see it kind of early on. At one point, one of the filmmakers drinks it, and then the movie ends with him, dying, but he dies because he was bit in the neck by one of his subjects, by one of the documentary subjects. So we don't know what the fuck that blue shit is or what it does, but we do know it has something to do with the zombie lifestyle. Oh wait, actually there's three things. I'd like to cover that third one because it just hit me, but first the big two. We have that glowing blue liquid, which apparently is a major part of zombie culture, and it's supposed to be injected. Well, we don't know why, and it's never fully explained why. I don't know if it's just so that way zombies are able to tell the difference between zombies and humans when they try to take over the world and all this other happy horse shit, or what, but that is never fully explained, and there is no payoff to it. The other thing is that every piece of zombie art, or most pieces of zombie art, like 99% of what you see, is all voids and swirls, and you'd think that maybe somehow that would tie into the way that a zombie's brain, functions, or maybe it had something. There might be some kind of like a psychological reason why almost every zombie draws or paints in swirls and like voids and all this other kind of happy horse shit. But no, that is never ever explained. Those are two massive things that are left hanging. And now, guys, that the movie's done, I'm still wondering what the fuck both of those were about. Now, one of the subjects who works as a convenience store clerk, he has what looks to be a fridge in his little dinky apartment, which is wrapped in chains and locked up. You'd kind of think at some point you would have gotten payoff as to what the fuck's in there, but you also don't get that either. It basically is if they wanted to do like a documentary, but they didn't know that if you're going to do a documentary style film like this, it helps to have some kind of payoff. Now, it would be understandable if there was no payoff because everybody dies or everyone vanishes, similar to things like Blair Witch and Troll Hunter, which are not documentaries as much as found footage films. Those I can totally understand not having like a payout, not having some kind of a payoff, but this thing's supposed to look like a 100% professionally edited and produced documentary. You need to have a payoff if you're going to put this shit in. Otherwise, it just feels lazy, and it would still feel lazy even if this thing was an actual documentary. So yeah, writing in this is not that good. Our characters, every one of them, it really doesn't matter if it is our two documentarians, it doesn't matter if it's their sound guy or if it's their extra guy. I guess he's like a secondary like cameraman. All of them are boring as shit, and all of our subjects are dull as dirt. We have, of course, the guy who works in the convenience store. There's nothing real special to him except he's dating a woman in the pharmacy who apparently gets him his blue glowing shit for free, or for real cheap. Again, it's not fully explained. Which means that they have to get it from pharmacies. There's still no payoff, and it's really bugging me the more I fucking think about it. I'm gonna try to move away from that. What about the other subjects? We have this one who seems almost to loathe the fact that she is a zombie. They have this big fucking like Burning Man style like get together in the like middle of nowhere, and she doesn't want to go at first, and she almost doesn't want to talk about the zombie lifestyle and what it's like to be undead. And then suddenly she changes just like that, and when they ask her why, she's like, "Well, I just changed my mind." And it felt really empty and stupid then, and her character doesn't have any depth besides the fact that she seems to almost psychologically despise the fact that she is a zombie. And again, there's also no payoff as to why, outside of the fact that you see a massive scar on her body where she was killed. But that's it. There is no payoff. And then the other one is this, like, ginger-haired artist who, just wants to know how she died, because apparently when you become a zombie, you lose a lot, you basically lose memories of exactly how you die. So she just has these, like, little flashes which tell the viewer very bluntly, and they could not have hammered you over the head with this any harder if they fucking tried, that she was in numerous abusive relationships, and that is how she died, because she basically talks about how, in this dream he looks like this, and in this dream he looks like this. So she had multiple boyfriends or husbands, and they all violently beat her in public. Well, at least one of them violently beat her in public. The other one at least beat her in her car. Again, that's really it for her depth. And she apparently really wants to know how she died, and she gets real defensive when she finds out that they haven't really made any effort to help her out in that, end. Then we have the head of ZAG, which is this zombie power, like power group almost, who are trying to help zombies get things such as healthcare and jobs and everything else. And he's also incredibly dull. But if I were to say that any character in this film had any level of personality, it would probably be him. And that still isn't saying, much. And Mike Penn still has more character than he does. But but guys, the writing here is just an absolute abysmal failure. Now again, it probably wasn't writing a script as much as writing out, like, an outline or a storyline or something. So I can't really blame the writers. I can blame the actors, though, because, again, whenever you're doing one of these, like, mockumentaries, or if you're doing like a mockumentary, or if you're doing like a found footage sort of thing, odds are you have no script, so everything has to be improv'd, and they have to know how to do it. Most of these people, they basically almost seem as if they are just trying to, as quickly as possible, get right to the point without trying to build their character. And if this was all improv, that is something you need. You need people who know how to build their character from the ground up, and nobody bothered. And also, every character comes off as either incredibly dull, incredibly irritating, or both. So yeah, the acting here is not that good. Camera work, though, is shockingly good, because the whole thing is supposed to look like a documentary, and they nailed that, including talking with, like, experts as to exactly how zombies are done and all this other stuff. All of that, at least in terms of writing and acting, is okay, because those people just had to sit in one spot, probably talk for about 5 minutes, and then they were done. All right. So yeah, writing here is not that good. Acting here is not that good. The camera work is great. Lighting, well, it's a fucking documentary, so you have to use whatever natural light sources you have, and it really does give it a nice gritty, like, realistic feel. Amongst other mockumentaries, this one is by far one of the worst I have seen. However, when you are trying to step up to powerhouses such as Best in Show and this is Spinal Tap, and you basically rock up with something that's this dull, you obviously are going to be trailing way far behind in the pack. But guys, I really at least wanted an interesting mockumentary, and I was struggling to stay awake through this entire film. Now, the one thing I find incredibly shocking about it is everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I'm talking on Netflix, I'm talking about on the IMDb. They market this thing as a fucking comedy. Where the hell was a single joke in this thing? Guys, at no point did I feel the need to laugh. At no point did I even feel the need to smile. It really almost felt like they were trying to make an incredibly straight-laced documentary about the zombie lifestyle if zombies were the dullest creatures on the planet and the last thing you'd want to make a documentary on. So apparently it is supposed to be a comedy, but there really isn't any honest-to-God comedy in there. There actually are a couple of attempts at making it a little bit more like horror-ish, which I guess makes sense because we are working with zombies, but none of that really works. They are trying to work in drama towards the end, but since everybody is phoning it in, it kind of fails. This, guys, is a movie. It has a fantastic premise, and it is just bogged down by absolutely god-awful fucking execution. And I cannot recommend this to you at all. I was really hoping it was going to at least be decent, and it couldn't even pull off that. But it is on Netflix. If you guys absolutely have to watch it, you know what? You guys just have to make sure that you're willing to piss away 90 minutes, and who knows? Perhaps just maybe you might find more in this than I did. Oh God, this was just painful. So yeah, guys, am I able to recommend this? No. And if the review part of this felt a little sloppy, mind you, I struggled to stay awake through this fucking thing because it was that dull. So I'm probably still a little bit groggy after just trying to stay awake. So yeah, I'm going to go knock back a 5-hour energy, and I'm gonna go do something of interest, which at this point might even be watching fucking grass fucking grow, because that might be a little bit more entertaining than watching American Zombie again. So yeah, guys, oh boy. I really wanted this one to be good. I'm still kind of disappointed with that. Well, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.